Welcome to Porch Light Letters podcast number 2467, Reflections. So, as you all know, 2 weeks ago I left New Zealand to go to the US back on the 15th of April, and I know we're already in May. Wow! I left on the 15th of April to head back to the States to catch a cruise. That was people from my mastermind, people from another mastermind that did acquisitions and mergers, and people from an investment group. So we ended up calling it the Epic Investment Cruise, or the Investors Cruise, or something like that. Anyway, it was phenomenal. We had a phenomenal time. And I've been thinking today has sort of been like a reflection day. Yesterday I did a lot of rest and relaxation, got a lot of sleep, caught up on it, felt a lot better. Suddenly decided, oh yeah, I haven't been taking my honey. So I've got my Waikanae honey, which is locally sourced, unfiltered, raw honey. And you take a teaspoon of that in the day, and it helps with allergies and stuff. And I took 1 teaspoon yesterday. I've taken 1 this morning, and I'm already feeling heaps better. I don't know why I didn't take it the first day I got home. But anyway, on to the story. So yesterday was a lot of rest. I got a lot of rest yesterday, a lot of sleep. Spent a lot of time in bed yesterday just sleeping and getting caught up on sleep. And it was my body actually needed it. Seriously, it did. And when I went to bed last night at 10 o'clock, went to sleep, slept for like 5 hours, woke up, couldn't get back to sleep. So I read for a little bit. I had the alarm turned off for this morning, read for a little bit, and then went back to sleep again and slept for another, another 4 hours or something, and woke up and was like, yeah, it's time to get up. Like I actually felt like getting out of bed, which is what I normally do every morning anyway, but I actually felt like getting out of bed. It wasn't like the last few mornings have been, it's sort of like, oh, I've got to get up. No, I got out of bed and started my day. And I've just had a great day. And a lot of it has been reflection over the last 2 weeks, over the cruise. When I got into the States on the Wednesday, the cruise didn't leave till Friday. Thursday, I basically went downstairs, had breakfast, then planted myself in the lobby. And the lobby's all these little breakup pieces, and there's pillars in the way and everything else. But I found this area that had these brown couches sitting there with white armrests, and thought, I can sit here and I can see the lobby. I can see where people line up for the front desk. I can see them as they come through the door. We're going to sit here. So I took a picture of where we were sitting. I had Casey Kiwi with me, and he sat on the armrest so people could identify him. And I basically sat there and greeted anybody that came over, and especially if I found out they were on the cruise, or people who I knew were on the cruise that I hadn't seen for a while. Some people I had never seen in person. I'd only seen them on Zoom. But we sat there and talked for ages, and some people went up to their rooms, had some sleep, came back down, saw people walking in. I'd run over to the reception area where they're standing in line and welcome them and let them know where we were sitting. They'd go up to their rooms, they'd come down and join us, or they'd get up to their rooms and they'd go to sleep. There was all sorts of things. We just had a great time just standing there. But through all of this, and it's why this song came about. So a couple of weeks prior to that, I came across this realization that sometimes I feel like I'm on the outside looking in and I don't know how to participate. And because I've been, I guess, so isolated over the last few years, I haven't been in large groups of people. I've always been in just small family groups of people. But getting on the cruise ship was overwhelming because we had like 3,800 people plus crew on that ship. And I hadn't been on a cruise ship since December 2018, and that was cruise number 22. This was cruise number 23. And it really overwhelmed me. It completely drained me. I didn't have enough alone time to recharge my battery. So I was like running on fumes and all this. And again, I had that on the outside looking in feeling, and I had taken a bunch of notes. Like I had my notebook with the 3 pages of notes in it. I didn't take that notebook with me because it didn't have a lot of pages left in it. So I took a new notebook with me and had started jotting down stuff into that. But between the people that I met on that Thursday before the cruise, and then we had a reception that evening where all of those that are going on the cruise came in, those that were in the local area could come in and join us. And we just had a great time networking that evening. And then the next day we were on the ship. And that evening we were all sitting around at the table together. The next day we were at sea, so we were in the conference room, and there was just stuff going on in there with what we were learning and everything else. The next day we were in Cabo, and I'd already said, I'm not getting off the ship. And so in Cabo, I'm sitting out by the pool area and I'm writing in my book. I had some conversations, met some people and all of that while sitting up there, which I usually do when I'm out by the pool. Finally got my song written. It suddenly everything just kind of like fell into place. And I'm like, this is awesome. It's falling into place. And so the words just started, like I had 3 pages of notes, which I actually typed up into a Google Doc, my 3 pages of notes from my notebook, because I'd taken pictures of them. And then I added the other notes from the new notebook. And then I'm in there and I've got 2 Google Docs open and I'm just moving words around until it starts looking like a song or a poem, very long poem. And I got really excited. And that was in the morning while everybody's in Cabo. We're still getting into Cabo. Still getting into Cabo at that point. We didn't get to Cabo till lunchtime. And I started this formatting. The song just started the words just started coming out like they'd highlight themselves. Like I'd be reading through the words and a phrase would highlight itself. It got moved over to the song page. And I was just going backwards and forwards like that on my laptop until I finally had a song, and I went through and made some changes on that. Then I put it into ChatGPT and says, look through the song. Do not make any changes. I just want to know how it reads. I would like, if you have suggestions, I will listen to the suggestions. Do not make any changes. So it did not make any changes. It came back and said, we suggest doing this here, that word here, maybe switching this word to this word and things like that. And so I went through and had a look, and some I agreed with, some I didn't. So I made some changes. And then I said to ChatGPT, I'm struggling with the style of the song. And it came back and said 80s rock. I'm like, oh, okay. So give me the style so I can put it into Suno. So I already had the lyrics uploaded into Suno. And it came back with a style for me. So we put the style in there, and it came back with a couple, and went and hit the create button, and it came back with a couple of versions. And I was like, yeah, I really don't like those. Made some changes to the words, stuck in the new lyrics. Couldn't like how the lyrics flow. Once you hear them with music, you can see how they flow. It's like, yeah, don't like how that sentence flows. Let's change that to this and try it again. So we tried that again. And it didn't take long until I had the lyrics down pat, and we had the style correct, and we had the correct singer come out, which is where we got Vivian Harper. She is AI created, an AI personality. Vivian's after my 4th great-grandmother, and Harper is after my 2nd great-grandmother, who was a suffragette in New Zealand. If you want to know all the history about suffragettes, we can tell you all about that on another time. But she was a suffragette and actually signed the petition. So Vivian Harper was born at that point. And I got the song written and sounded really good. Was super, super excited about it. And then we had a mastermind group, either that day or the next day. Where did that notebook go? Oh, that notebook may be up by my recliner. Just looking really quickly to see if I have that notebook here. So it was either that day or the next day when we were in Mazatlan that we had a pop-up mastermind meeting down in the conference room. And somebody, I can't remember what the question was, but nobody was answering. I said, well, I'll get us kicked off. I said, I got my song finished. I said, I've been struggling with it the last 2 to 3 weeks. And because of comments that were made here in the classroom yesterday, people that I've had conversations with at dinner, during roundtable, the breakfast thing, just all these words are coming in from different angles. It helped me finish my song. And he says, what's the song about? So I said, well, it's called On the Outside Looking In, when you feel like you're on the outside of everything and looking in and wanting to know how to participate and breaking through and participating. And he was like, okay. And so the conversation went from there. And so that's when that song, that was the first song I released to go onto Spotify. Yes, I know I've had a song that's been out there for almost a year, and those 2 versions will be going up on Spotify very soon. I got to find the date because I want to make it on the 1-year anniversary of when I actually released it, recorded it, whatever you want to call it. And so that'll be that. And so Vivian Harper's song, On the Outside Looking In, is up on Spotify. The link is in the comments below. But I was reflecting back through all of that. And then I get a message from my business partner. We're supposed to be doing a podcast before this one. And it was our Zanakin Studio podcast. And she says, I'm just not vibing it today. She said, I don't feel well. And read on thing. I said, look, I'm feeling the same way because I was questioning this podcast and the podcast that we were doing there. I was questioning doing podcasts at all today. But I knew I had my commitment to do it once a day. So here we are. And so there was more reflections. And I found myself, as I'm looking back over the last 2 weeks, the lyrics from the song On the Outside Looking In keep playing over and over and over again in my mind. And I feel like because of other stuff that was said after that session, that we learned about, getting out there and doing stuff and getting challenges and all of that, I'm sort of like, I'm meant to be doing something more. I'm shaking my desk. It's not an earthquake. I'm just shaking my desk. Excitement. And I've been thinking, there's something more that I can be doing with this podcast. What is it? I don't know. So I've been reflecting on the last couple of weeks being away, time with family, conversations that have been had on the cruise, conversations that have been had post-cruise, conversations I've had with family at the wedding, releasing that song on the 25th of April, and just playing it over and over and over again in my mind. And then I had on Sunday, I got to have Saturday, got to meet up with cousins. My dad's first cousins were all there, and one of my second cousins was there as well. They were all first cousins once removed, except for the second cousin. And getting to know some of them who I'd not met before. So I had a chance to get to know some of them and meet those that I haven't seen in a long time. It was a great reunion thing. I absolutely loved it. I was in my element. And I snuck in a few genealogy questions here and there along the way, just to clarify things on the tree that I had in my head that I thought. And so that was really good too. So the reflection part of today has been very reflective in looking at where are we taking this podcast? What are we going to do with it next? What is its next rendition going to be? Is it we're going to keep it as Porchlight Letters, or are we going to change it to something else? I'm not sure. I don't know. I just know that something needs to be done. Something needs to break through, and I haven't had that breakthrough yet. So even with Tears, we're going to meet later this week. I'm going to look at how we do Zanakin Studios podcast, and because we're enjoying it, but we're just not happy with how it's hitting or how it's landing or in the format that we have. So we're going to rehash the whole thing and see what we can come up with it. Because again, we were both on the cruise. We both heard the same things. We both heard them in different ways because of the ways we interpret things. But we both had a lot of ideas that came out of it as well. So it's going to be a fun couple of weeks as we sort through all of this. So today's been all about reflections, thinking back on that. And I just love that song. So if you want to go here on the outside looking in, sit down with it, turn the music on, but make sure you get no distractions so you can sit and listen to the lyrics, because the lyrics are awesome, even if I say so myself. But they really are awesome lyrics. I love it. I've been very fortunate with the songs that I have written and how awesome they sound, and how it makes my lyrics come to life. Being somebody who's only ever done poems and essays and blogs and all of that other thing, everything except songs, until 2004 when I actually wrote a song. September 2004, I wrote Best Me I Can Be, and have two versions of that song, one male, one female, one with Tui Ross and one with Brodie Carmichael. Again, family name, except Tui. Tui is a favourite bird in New Zealand of mine. It's known as a coward. It's got a little white feather on its throat to mark it as a coward from Maori Myths and Legends from years ago. But it's got this gorgeous song, and I'm fortunate I get to hear it every morning when I wake up now, until the sun goes down. And when it rains, I don't hear it, but when it stops, it's the first thing I hear afterwards. And they actually have a dual voice box. They can do these very unusual sounds and things. So it's one of my favorite birds besides the kiwi. And then Ross is my mother's maiden name, because we descend from the Ross clan in Scotland, from Ross and Cromorty area. And then Brodie and Carmichael are third and fourth great grandmothers last name. So you never know when a name's going to come from. And this time with Vivian Harper, I got a fourth great grandmother and a second great grandmother. So yeah, you never know where they're going to come from. I just look back through my tree and go, oh, that sounds a really cool name. Let's use that one. So with that, the only one I have not done that with is America Celebrates 250 Years with Wyatt Jefferson Callahan, because I wanted a very very American patriotic sounding name, if you can follow that, because of the type of song it was. So that's how his came about. Yes. But anyway, that's it. I'm out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hey,